Good morning, Madam President, Commissioners, Chief Anthony, Director Prince, distinguished guests, and the residents of Cook County, Illinois. I am the Cook County Director of Veteran Affairs, Major Retired Dina Love of the United States Army. On behalf of President Preckwinkle, we would like to thank you for your attendance in today's ceremony, honoring the veterans for their service of the past, present, and future. At this time, if you are capable, we invite everyone to rise for the posting of the colors by the Chicago State University Color Guard and the playing of the national anthem. Color Guard, post. Please be seated. Once again, we would like to thank you for your attendance in today's event. At this time, I would like to invite the President of the Board of Commissioners, Tony Preckwinkle, forward for opening remarks. Madam President.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want to thank you very much for joining us here today. I want to acknowledge the folks who will follow me to the podium. Commissioner Brandon Johnson, who's going to talk a little bit about the history of Veterans Day and who is chair of our Veterans Committee. The Vice Chair, Commissioner Donna Miller. Chairman Daley, Chairman of Finance. Terry Prince, we're grateful that he's joined us. He's Acting Director of the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs. Tanya Anthony, 2021 Veterans Day Resolution, she'll still be reading that. Dee Love, who's going to talk about the service history and introduce Bill Brown. Tanya Anthony will come back for the presentation of the award. Bill Brown is our honoree, and of course, Dee Love will give closing remarks. So I want to thank all of you for your participation. And I want to thank the Cook County employees who are veterans who've joined us today. I'm pleased to be able to recognize and honor you. And thank you to the Veterans Committee Chair, Commissioner Brandon Johnson, for taking part in today's ceremony, as well as Vice Chair Miller and Chair of Finance Daley. I'd also like to recognize Tanya Anthony, Chief Administrative Officer and a U.S. Army veteran, for helping organize this event. Dee Love, a recently retired U.S. Army veteran at the rank of Major, recently joined the county as Director of Veterans Affairs. Thank you, Dee, for your service and for ensuring today is special for our employees. I'm grateful to retired Director of Veterans Affairs, Bill Brown, for his decade of service to the county's veterans and for his own service in the military, the U.S. Air Force. He's this year's recipient of Cook County's Public Service Commendation. I'd also like to thank the young women and men of Chicago State University, ROTC, for their participation this morning. Today, we're here to celebrate Cook County employees who are veterans of the United States Armed Forces. Women and men who've served in the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard, or the National Guard, and who are our family, friends, and colleagues. My father served in World War II, along with his only brother, in the U.S. Army. I understand the sacrifices you have made. Your bravery and selflessness are attributes that I admire and respect. Your contributions do not end when you take off your uniform, and neither do our obligations to you. When I first established the Department of Veteran Affairs in 2013, one of my priorities then and still is to give preference to veterans seeking employment. I'm honored that you've chosen to serve once again, this time as Cook County employees. Happy Veterans Day to all our employees here at Cook County and across the nation, and thank you for your service. Dee?
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, we are honored to have the 1st District Commissioner and Chairman of the Cook County Veterans Committee, Brandon Johnson, to come forward and present the history of Veterans Day.
Thank you, Dee, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's good to be here. Again, my name is Brandon Johnson. I'm blessed to represent the 1st District of Cook County, which is the west side of Chicago and the western suburbs. And just yesterday, I realized that I've reached that age where now I have to take off my glasses in order to see. It happens very quickly. But to my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Miller and Commissioner Daly, it is truly an honor to be with you all this day, and happy Veterans Day to all of our service members. You know, as I stand here before you to share the remembrance of the service and sacrifice of our service members of our nation's armed forces, I'm reminded of the sacrifices that were made in order for liberation to be experienced, and not just as an entire nation, but for specific groups that have been marginalized since the inception of the Western experiment. But the history and the commemoration of Veterans Day, it dates back to November 11th, 1918. And on this day, an armistice between the Allied nations and Germany went into effect, making the beginning of the end of World War I. In November of 1919, President Wilson officially proclaimed November 11th as the commemoration of Armistice Day with the following words: "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of nations." The original concept of the celebration was for a day to be observed with parades and public meetings, and of course, a brief suspension of business beginning at 11 a.m. So for over 100 years, the nation continues to take the time to acknowledge the service and sacrifice of its veterans. Now known, of course, as Veterans Day, through parades and ceremonies and public meetings, those who have risen to the call to protect and defend our country are nationally honored and still are recognized to this day. And so this is why it's with great pride I'm honored to continue this tradition of honoring our nation's heroes, along with President Preckwinkle and, of course, Chief Anthony. I'm also have the task of introducing the Vice Chair of the Veteran Affairs Committee, dear friend and sister, Cook County Commissioner Donna Miller.
Thank you so much, Chairman Johnson. Good morning, everyone. I'm Cook County Commissioner Donna Miller. I represent the 6th District, and it's really an honor to be here today for Veterans Day. I'd like to thank President Preckwinkle, Chief Administrator Tanya Anthony, and Major D. Love, and congratulations on your new role. And it's great to be here today to celebrate Veterans Day and honor the brave men and women in uniform for their service and sacrifice, including our own Cook County employee who works on my team, Tyler Brumfield, from my office, as well as all the other veterans who work at the county. And Tyler is an active member of the Army Reserves, and we want to thank him for his service as well as everyone. So I come from a military family, and I know full well the sacrifices that are not just our veterans in uniform take, but also their families, the spouses, and the children also sacrifice for our great country. Veterans have a heart and service that is on display today with our Cook County employees who continue to serve the public and with dignity and integrity. And I also make a special mention of families because I know those sacrifices all too well. My father's a retired colonel in the Army. My grandfather is a retired colonel in the Army, but my grandmother moved over 22 times for 48 different positions my grandfather had over those years. And if you can imagine going overseas with 3 children and coming back and forth, we want to also thank the families for their service. So I love this year's theme, Service of the Past, Present, and Future. I want to say a big thank you to all the veterans who serve, continue to serve, and will serve in the future, and so we can enjoy the freedom and diversity our country has today. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. At this time, I would like to call Commissioner Daly forward for opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Director, and welcome aboard. And I wish you the best, and any assistance we as a board could give you, we're there 100%. President Preckwinkle, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Miller, Tanya, and Bill, and to all the workers of Cook County who are veterans, let me thank you for your service and your continued service to the people of the county. Today we honor the veterans, and I truly believe it's as the President said, she started to give veteran preferences. Needless to say, she did it at the City Council. She served with a good friend of mine, Jim Balzer, who was head of veterans on the city level. But we owe you not only honoring you today, but to all the veterans, I think we have to continue our commitment on your service, the issues that you face, make sure that you are getting the services you need. I know the chair of the Veterans Committee has been working on this and will continue to work on expanded services and letting you know what is available through Cook County, through the state, and through the federal government. Again, thank you very much, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Commissioner Daly. At this time, we would be honored to have the Interim Director of Veteran Affairs for the state of Illinois, Mr. Terry Prince, come forward.
Yes, you're not seeing things. I'm not on your program, but I'm first in your hearts, I'm sure. I'm really excited to have a chance to speak today. Thank you, Madam President, and all the commissioners. My wife and I returned to Illinois back in April to assume the role as acting director of the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs. And we had it was not a difficult decision. We wanted to live in Chicago. We're proud residents of Cook County. We're both veterans, and we're so excited to serve the largest population of veterans here in Cook County and across Illinois, of course. We're bringing a new world and new way of looking at business for our veterans, and that is access and outreach and getting into those communities for historically ignored and underserved veterans who don't just walk into an office. We show our thanks for their service through our efforts. Nothing makes me prouder than to say that a veteran raised their hand and swore an oath to defend the Constitution, and in many cases wrote a blank check payable upon their death to serve our country, to ensure that we have our freedoms and we enjoy the things that we have in this country. And I'm excited, so excited, in fact, I didn't take my mask off, to report that we're making a lot of changes in this organization, ultimately centering everything we do around veterans. The Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs does not exist without veterans in our 5 veterans homes, but more importantly, our 600,000 plus veterans and families across this entire state. So I'm really looking forward to working with the Cook County government and certainly Major Love and Mr. Brown. Thank you for your assistance as I got into the role to ensure that Cook County veterans receive every single service and benefit that they're entitled to above and beyond things that they could have possibly imagined. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Prince. At this time, we will have the Chief of the Bureau of Administration, Ms. Tanya Anthony, come forward for the reading of the resolution.
Good morning. I want to say good morning to Madam President, commissioners, distinguished guests, employee veterans, resident veterans of Cook County. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon or this morning. I am Tanya Anthony, Chief of the Bureau of Administration for Cook County, and it is my pleasure to offer up this morning the resolution that has been passed by our Board of Commissioners. Cook County Veterans Day Resolution for November 11th, 2021. Whereas Veterans Day, formerly known as Armistice Day, was originally proclaimed a holiday on November 11th, 1919 by President Woodrow Wilson to honor the end of World War I. And whereas November 11th, subsequently declared a legal holiday in 1938, was dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be hereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. In 1954, at the urging of veteran organizations, the 1938 Act was amended by replacing Armistice Day with Veterans Day. And whereas from the Revolutionary War to the present day, the contributions made to the United States of America by her citizen soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen who stand in our place to defend the freedom we enjoy cannot be calculated. And whereas the County of Cook has the largest veteran population in the state of Illinois with 156,000 veterans. And whereas the County of Cook has always honored the immeasurable wartime and peacetime contributions and sacrifice of the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. And whereas Americans still give thanks to veterans for their services on Veterans Day with ceremonies and speeches, and at 11 a.m., many Americans observe a moment of silence in remembrance of those who fought and for those who gave their lives to preserve the freedom we now enjoy. And whereas the willingness of our citizens who have answered the call to duty to give freely and unselfishly of themselves in defense of our democratic principles gives this great nation continued strength and vitality. And whereas even today, members of the military are stationed throughout the world while their families remain in our communities. And whereas families praying for the safe return of loved ones experience everyday life in a very different way than others, as their everyday thoughts and feelings never stray far from those they honor and are proud of for serving this great nation. And whereas the willingness of our citizens who have answered the call to duty to give freely and unselfishly of themselves in defense of our democratic principles, and whereas Veterans Day is a day set aside to thank and honor living veterans who served honorably in the military for their service in wartime or in peacetime. And whereas the commemoration of this day is a matter of historic and patriotic significance to all American citizens. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the President and the Cook County Board of Commissioners do hereby recognize November 11th, 2021 as Veterans Day, and ask that on this day of honor, all residents express their gratitude to our veterans. And be it further resolved with respect and gratitude, we salute all of our veterans, remembering all gave some and some gave all, and devote special attention to those veterans who are sick and disabled, and show them through our actions that we remember and honor them. Approved and adopted this 11th day of November 2021. Tony Preckwinkle, President, Cook County Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Anthony. Selfless service is a virtue embodied by the men and women of this country who have risen to join the ranks of our armed forces. For hundreds of years, service members have sacrificed to protect and defend this country and our freedoms. For many, their service transcends the ranks of their formations and extends into the communities in which they reside. Cook County recognizes the extended sacrifice and dedication of those service members who rise to the call of public service. Selflessly, these individuals take on the needs and initiatives to improve the quality of life of those around them. Cook County would like to take the opportunity to recognize a veteran who has answered the call of the needs of the veteran in Cook County with the Cook County Public Service Commendation Award. This year's recipient of the award is the former Director of Veteran Affairs and Air Force veteran, William Bill Brown. Everyone, if capable, please rise for the reading of the citation. For exceptionally meritorious service while the Director of Veteran Affairs for Cook County, Illinois, his leadership and dedication to duty for 10 years resulted in the service of over 156,000 veterans. William Brown's professionalism, leadership, and devotion to duty is in keeping with the finest traditions of public service and reflect great credit upon him, the Department of Veteran Affairs, Cook County Board of Commissioners, the veterans of Cook County, and our nation's armed forces. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now yield the floor to the 2021 Cook County Public Service Commendation recipient, Mr. William Bill Brown.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. President Preckwinkle, Chairman Johnson, Chairman Miller, and Commissioner Daly, and all distinguished guests, Tanya and Dee. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for this outstanding award. This is something I completely caught me off guard. I did not expect this at all. But again, my name is Bill Brown. I am the director. I was the director for the Cook County Department of Veterans Affairs for 10 years. I came out of the service back in 1971, if you can believe that. Yes, 1971 I came out of the service. I served in Vietnam, served in Thailand, and then when I got out of the service in 1971, I worked in many of the different organizations throughout the city, banking, non-for-profit organizations, the state, and then finishing up here at Cook County in 2011. So one of the things I would like to just say, thank you for this commendation. One of the things that I found out in working with veterans since I came out of the service was many of the veterans did not know where to go for resources. And I must add, when I first started with this job in 2011, I worked with another organization that dealt with veterans, and then I came over here in 2012. And this is where the President and the Bureau Administration requested that we would do more to reach out to our veteran population. And this is what we did. We took on that job of reaching out to many of the veteran organizations, the veterans, going out to various resource events out throughout the city and throughout Cook County. One of the things I did enjoy working with our veteran population is anytime any of our county commissioners called and said, we need a veteran representative to come out to our district, I was available and ready to go. And it provided me an opportunity to not only meet more organizations and veterans, but to go out throughout all of Cook County. So for this honor, I do appreciate it. It's been a whirlwind business event since I left. My last day was September 30th, and I was given a retirement party here at Cook County. I'm commander of my local VFW out in Richardson Park in Matheson, and they gave me a retirement party. So it's been a busy time all along. And then when I saw the commendation come through regarding recommending me for this commendation medal, I've gotten more comments, and I don't know if many of you are on Facebook, but I've gotten more hits on my comments on Facebook since this was basically announced. But I do want to just say thank you to everyone, and I'm glad we got an outstanding person that's has taken over the spot here. Dee has been taking over the spot here, and she's an outstanding person. Will do an excellent job working with the veterans here in Cook County. Madam President, Commissioners, Tanya, thank you very much for your service, for helping me out working with the veterans population. One of the things I'd always like to be proud of is with Chairman Daly. Back in, I believe, 2016 or 2017, I worked with Commissioner Daly to get the POW-MIA chair in the county boardroom. If any of you ever get a chance to go down to the 5th floor, see that chair that was put up down there with the help of Commissioner Daly and some of the other people that worked with us out there. That was a very proud moment in my life, and many of the veterans who came out here, they were quite pleased and quite surprised to see that we were honoring being able to do this for all of our veterans. So, on behalf of myself and my wife who's here today, I would like to just say thank you to each and every one of you. One of the things I've always mentioned is whenever you see a veteran, I'm sure you can see a lot of veterans today, tomorrow, and probably Friday and Saturday, make sure you extend a hand or give them a hug and say, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you have done for this country. Thank you for this great recommendation today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could, please extend another warm round of applause for his 10 years of service to former Director of Veteran Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 2021 Veterans Day Commemoration Program. On behalf of President Preckwinkle, the Department of Veteran Affairs, we would like to thank you for your attendance in honoring Mr. William Brown. Thank you all.